It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap. How to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who's consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week. And we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes as quickly as you can and apply as much of their knowledge. And then use the copycat principle. If you're watching on Vulcan7 or on the Lead Gen Facebook group, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions during the broadcast. So get those questions in early, folks. Type them in now. Type in a good question. Let me introduce my co-host. We're broadcasting here live from the Vulcan7 Conference Center in Encinitas. We are broadcasting live, and my co-host, Carly Hathaway, is here live in Encinitas as well.
Hi,
How are
everybody.
you, Carly?
I'm good. I'm so excited. Ren's here in San Diego, so we get to host the show together. It's going to be a good time. We have an amazing guest.
Yes, I know. And before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everybody that we're also simulcasting on the private Lead Gen Facebook group. They have 49,000, maybe 50,000 members. Go look by now. So we have a large audience there as well today. We will be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. So today, let's welcome our guest from the greater Phoenix area, covering Scottsdale and a lot of exciting places that you should have a second home in. Let me introduce Mr. Michael Kent. How are you, Michael?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Good.
Thank you so much for being with us, Michael. We're really excited to interview you today.
Thanks.
Good deal. Wonderful. So most important, a lot of people have referrals for that part of the world on a regular basis. People move into Phoenix and reluctantly, sometimes they have to move out.
Right.
So they may have a house to sell, they may have a house to buy, or maybe they're trading up and they know those people because it's their second home. Anyway, how's the best way for them to reach you so that they can do business with you?
Kent at remax.net, Michael Kent at remax.net, or our business cell phone line 480-459-7258. 480-459-7258. And yeah,
okay.
Great. Thank you.
And if they want, is there a website if they want to learn more about you and whatever to connect that way as well? Is that door number 3?
Yeah, Michael Kent, or it's, it's Find AZ Homes. Oh my. I'll have to get that to me. I got to ask my assistant. I don't go to my own website a lot. She handles.
I think I saw 2 or 3. So Michael Kent in Phoenix, they will find you. For all right,
let me get it. Apologize. I'll get that. Sorry.
Give me your email address one more time.
It's Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, Kent, K-E-N-T, at remax.net.
Got it. Michael Kent at remax.net. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
That works. That'll do the trick. And so we know what company you work with too now.
Yep.
Perfect. What's the goal this year, Michael?
120.
Nice goal. Good.
Yep.
Good. And you have got some good price points there. What's a nice
4
bedroom, 2-car garage, 3 baths?
I sold a $50,000 condo up to $1 million home last year. My average sales price is about $280.
280? Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you like at the point to reach your goals so far?
Yeah. Well, and it's a great question. I was talking to Ren earlier today. It just seems like from doing this, I've been doing real estate 14 years. Get coaching through the Mike Ferry organization. Okay. And one thing he teaches, and I've seen this, is that it almost seems that the closed transactions almost match exactly how many listings you take. So if my goal is 120.
So you have to take 120.
I should be taking, I have to take 120 listings. It's the same as my goal. And so
that makes it really
I should be
easy.
taking,
you only have to take 10 listings a month then.
Right. So if you focus on just taking the 10 listings a month, and through right now, I'm at 25 year to date. So I should be at 30 by the end of Q1. So I'm a little behind.
Okay. All right. Well, you're pretty close there.
Right.
To, so every week you take 2 listings. I mean, any way you look at it, you're taking, actually 2.5.
Well, and then if you factor in, I took probably a couple weeks off. My kids were on spring and stuff around New Year, so I haven't worked the full. I was probably taking about 2 weeks off also in the first quarter.
Okay.
So what is the main source of your business? Where do you get your leads? How do you get these listing appointments? Kind of tell us what your business plan is.
Yeah, last year the percentage of breakdown, it was about 35% past clients, 40% canceled and expireds.
Okay.
And then 10% FSBOs. So mainly my past clients now, past client center influence, and then the canceled and expireds.
So
I know with inventory being down across, right? Although Phoenix is just a huge area, so I mean, there's probably about 30 to 40 cancels or expireds a day. I know there's some markets with inventory being low, that's a struggle even finding the leads, but we do pretty well in that right now. It's a pretty transient place.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
So how are you calling expireds every single morning? What's your daily agenda look like?
Yeah, every morning, I have a daily schedule. I get up 5, go to the gym, read. I'm role playing about 7:30. And then from about 8 till about 12, I'm prospecting, doing some lead follow-up. Take a 15-minute break, about 9:30, meet with my team for about 10 or 15 minutes. So it's about 2.5, 3.5 hours a day.
Nice. And what's your daily goal for contacts a day?
35.
35 contacts.
Yeah. Okay. And one thing, I mean, I'm getting, I've always been pretty good about getting the contacts. And I feel like sometimes when I focus so much on the contacts, I miss the lead. So I really try to get in my head where I'm just every day trying to go on an appointment and take a listing. So the contacts are important. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I want to make sure our focus is on taking the listings more than making the number of contacts.
Yeah, there is that, what do they call it? Contactitis.
Contactitis, exactly. And I found after doing this for a while, my percentage, how many people I have to talk to take a listing's gone down. I mean, my ratios are better as I've gotten more skilled, and now I'm starting to interview with past clients that have used me in the past. And so,
you're
that ratio of contacts to listings taken. Yeah, it's gotten a little better.
Yeah, you're just so that it probably took you a few years to be that overnight sensation. A lot of practice.
Right, a lot of practice.
So you're role playing every morning starting at 7:30. How important do you think that is?
That's huge. I mean, even after you do it a while, if you don't practice every day, I mean, you can lose it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at your choice, either you do what you're doing, because there are people on here that go, well, I did that one day. I made 2 hours worth of calls. But then if you don't do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, basically you have to work that weekend, hold a couple open houses, hope to meet a buyer that might want to buy, or you can do what you do and enjoy your weekends.
Yeah, and I mean, there's probably a lot of agents that are more skilled than I am, better looking, but my biggest strength is the consistency. I do it every day.
Okay, so Monday through Friday, you're calling until about noon every day.
Yeah, because the crazy thing is you could go 2 or 3 days and make all these contacts and nothing. And then you come in that 4th day and the first 5 people you talk to, you set 2 appointments.
Okay, so it's day 3. It's day 3. You've gone 3 days and it's just like bust.
Yeah.
What are you telling yourself in your mind? Because there are a lot of people who are like, I wouldn't have even made it to the 3rd day. How do you make it to the 3rd day? Why do you do that?
I just think the biggest thing I'm doing too is I'm talking to people and going through my leads. So if I'm trying to take 10 listings a month, I'm not worried about number 10 at the beginning of the month when I only have 2. Let's say I've taken 2 and it's the beginning of the month. All I'm looking for, what's number 3? Where's number 3?
Okay, good.
There's so much in this business you can focus on, but really if you just focus on what you got to do that day here and the now, where's that next listing going to happen?
What's your agenda when you do get through and it's a good lead? It's not only a contact, but turns into a good lead. What's your follow-up process for that?
Well, I know one thing Mike teaches, that the higher producing agents, kind of how they even define a lead. And a lot of people say, well, this is someone that's going to sell in 6 months. Well, that's not really a lead. For a top producing agent, it's going to be someone who's going to sign a contract within the next 7 to 10 days. So if they're motivated, I'm going to call them daily, maybe even twice a day.
Okay. And you're just going to stay on them until you can get into their house and get that listing appointment. Right.
I know Mike teaches that. How often do we lose a lead from calling them too much?
Never.
Never. It's usually the opposite, right?
Yeah.
No, because that's why you're demonstrating what they're trying to hire anyway. That's what the more persistent you are, the more passionate you are, the more they're like, that's who we want. That's exactly what we're selling.
Yep. Which is sometimes I'll tell the seller, I'm going to be the same way with buyers.
I like it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Your interactions, you've already started the interview process before you've even met with them.
Yeah.
I know.
Definitely.
I know.
And what's your plan for, you said you have 35% of your business is past clients. How often do you reach out to them? What's the schedule around that?
That's a good question too. So I call them quarterly, where it's a conversation. And then once a month, I send out a market update. It's a 2-minute video of me just on the market. So they get an email from me once a month. They get a phone call from me once a quarter. And then we drop them something in the mail once a month also.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that seems to work really well for you, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely, I'm sure we could do better. But, you know, I through the Mike Ferry organization, I met Josh Barker, who's a good mentor of mine. And he said, you know, service, it's the lowest cost, you know, form of advertising we can give. So obviously it starts with the service you give them and making sure you're staying in contact with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a great way to get continuous business and spoil them to death. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and again, you also said 40% of your business is from expired and canceled. Would you be open to doing a little role play with us?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Really put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know. Okay, take a deep breath.
Okay.
Okay, I'm an expired. Go ahead, give me a call.
Okay. Tell me your name again.
Carly.
Carly. Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, I'm looking for Carly.
Speaking.
Carly, Michael Kent with Remax. I had pulled up your home this morning on our computer, but now it's showing it's off the market. Is that correct?
Yeah, and like I'm done with you guys calling me.
Done
like,
with.
just
Right.
stop.
You're just getting bombarded with agents.
Bombarded. I'm over it.
I got to work with these guys all day. I feel you. I'm sorry. So that's fine. I can leave you alone. I'm just wondering, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home?
I mean, I kind of have an agent. I mean, sort of.
Sort of have an agent. No problem. No problem. You know, I'm wondering, Carly, when you sell this home, or if it would have sold 2 months ago, where were you planning on going next?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Great place. Fantastic. Good
I know.
for you. How soon did you want to be in Phoenix?
You know, we would really like to be there by end of April.
End of April. Ouch. Okay, so here we are end of March and the home hasn't sold. That's got to be frustrating.
It's really frustrating. Like, you honestly have no idea. It's been, you know, it was on the market for 90 days. I was expecting to get offers within a day or two. So I don't know. I'm super frustrated. I'm kind of at my wit's end.
Wit's end. I would be too. That's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Carly, what do you think stopped the home from selling?
The agent.
The agent.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrating. Okay. Well, what would you expect from the next agent you choose?
To sell my house.
Sell the house, right?
Yeah, for real.
For sure. Carly, are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell homes?
How would I be familiar with those techniques? Come on.
You wouldn't. We just met, right? So when would be a good time to show you? Are early or later afternoons better for you?
Can you just explain to me over the phone, or just shoot me an email, actually?
Yeah, I can send you some info. Not a big deal. What would you like me to send you?
I don't know. I guess what you would do differently than my last agent did.
What I would do differently. And that's exactly why we would get together. Carly, when we get together, it's only going to take 10, 15 minutes. I want to share with you what other sellers are doing now to get the most money in the quickest amount of time. That is what you want, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, we're ready to move, so yeah.
Yeah, you're ready to move. I don't mind this at all. I'm going to be out in your area today, or I can come later this evening. What's better for you? I'm out there anyways. Let me stop by and see the house.
I mean, you can stop by this evening, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. I'll come at 6.
Okay.
And just so I'm prepared for when I see the house, I've got a few more questions I'd like to ask you, okay?
Okay.
And then I'd go into some kind of prequel.
Okay, great.
Good.
That was
Super.
great.
Good.
Really good. I like that you just kept it going. You just stayed on script. I think it was great.
Good. Now, you know, let me throw this out, because there are a lot of people watching right now, and I keep thinking of all the people that are watching are like, he makes it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
What I get is the seller throws this thing to me. I get tense, frozen, and I go, well, good luck. Okay. You know, they say all kinds of things to you, and they don't make it anywhere near as far as this conversation went, ever. Maybe 1 in 20. Normally they get to the second sentence, the seller says something, they freeze, they're scared. What would you say to that person to help them get to where they're not just saying good luck?
Right. Good. Yeah, and I guess number one is you need to stop talking to yourself. I mean, that you're loading yourself with a bunch of crap in your head. Also, I think if you think about it, a real estate agent, if you want to separate yourself from probably 90% of agents out there, learn the answers. There's only maybe 10 to 15 objections we get on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Learn what to say when they come up. That's not hard. And the scripts that we have, literally, I don't know if you saw me doing it, but if you can read, you can go through the script. You ask a question, you repeat and affirm, and you ask the next question.
I like
I've
it.
had some new agents that I've worked with. I've literally just said it, and they say, we're not selling the home. Never call me again. Never call you again. I understand. If the home would have sold, where would you have gone next?
That is perfect.
It's none of your business. I told you to hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Got it. How long did you want, or how soon did you want to be in that next destination? Just repeat and affirm and keep asking the questions.
Yeah.
And I found too, if you approach it with enthusiasm, the other thing that's going to help you on that is practice, because practice will build confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
Prospecting terrifies people, and if you don't know what to say, of course, you're
Yeah.
going to freak out. But if you have the confidence after you practiced enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. What would you say to new agents that are learning the scripts? How much time should they put into practicing those scripts and those objection handlers and things like that?
Yeah, when I started, I probably was putting in about 45 minutes to an hour.
Every day.
And part of that was practice. So maybe 30 minutes role play, and then I would get by myself and I would literally write out the scripts. You have to memorize and internalize them. And
Mm-hmm.
once you know that, I'm telling you, that'll separate you from other agent. I mean, some agents don't know what to do. You know, they're in a listing appointment. We don't want to pay you 6%, and they just freeze up.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, what do you want? You know, you got to have an answer.
Yeah.
You got to have a conversation. You got to stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, 35 contacts a day, and people go, I could do that. And then they do it and they realize, just getting to 8 is a lot of work. And then they're like, okay, I've run out of people to call. 27, you're doing 27 a day.
27
and it takes a while. What do you tell people to get, for you, you're doing it, with ease, you're doing your 35. How do you get there? What do you say to somebody that's getting to that 8, 10, 12, and I don't know who to call next, and my calls are running too long, and I talk to a past client and they go 45 minutes. What do you say to them?
Yeah, I found sometimes when again, something I've learned through my coaching is you should average at least 10 an hour, 10 contacts an hour. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll be calling a lot of expireds, no one's picking up. And I've been on the phone 20 minutes. I only talked to one person, and I'm like, I'm not sitting on my 10, and I will switch over to something where I know I'm going to get a better pickup ratio.
Okay.
Past clients, center of influence are going to answer their phone, or just listed, just sold. I don't do a lot of those, but if you don't have a lot of canceled expireds in your market, that's a good one where you're going to get a lot of people picking up.
All right, yeah, just listed, just sold, and you're picking up. Then you're getting 15 an hour maybe.
Right, you can get more. And so you got to watch. I watch that as I'm prospecting. Am I trending toward the 10 plus an hour? If I am, and sometimes if I'm talking to 20 people, 20 people an hour, I'm probably not having a conversation. I'm probably going too fast.
But then you have the dilemma of an expired and a FSBO have a house for sale and no agent. The just listed, just sold is a lot of contacts, but sometimes they don't go any. How do you balance that?
Well, I think too, yeah, that's a good point. Is if you want, the good thing about just listed, just sold is you have to talk to a lot of people, but by the time you find them, but it's less competitive. So it's really a pretty good strategy for a brand new agent. Whereas my cancels and expireds, these guys sometimes are interviewing 4 or 5 agents.
Yeah. So yeah, and even newer agents. I mean, the gold a lot of times is the old expired.
Yep.
Because they can get in there and they can actually literally get 2 listings a month.
Right.
If they focus on old expireds, they can take 2 more listings a month just from that.
And Ren, that's a good point. Sometimes it's really hard. You work for a listing, you have to follow up forever, and it's an intense, maybe a confrontational presentation, and you end up you work really hard. Sometimes it's literally, I remember one I took last month, and the guy was like, yeah, can you list it for me? He was just, I was on a FSBO yesterday. I meet with this lady in about an hour, and she said, you're the only one I've talked to this long. So I'm going to give you probably at least a couple months. We'll see what happens. I mean, before I've even shown up. So sometimes sometimes it's easy.
Yeah, that's nice. Those are very refreshing, actually.
They do fall out of the sky once in a while.
You don't know what day you're going to hit that, so you got to do it every day.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What do you do when you get just that person that kind of really beat you up on the phone and just like, don't call me ever again. I hate you, blah, blah, blah. How do you shake that off? Or does it affect you? What's kind of your mindset around that?
Yeah, it probably used to, but not now.
Nah.
I mean, if you think about it too, like that's great, because if you think about it, if other agents aren't, not used to this and doing it every day, that might be the one person that said, I'm going to start prospecting, and they get that one call and they quit.
Yeah.
So someone like that, the other agents are going to quit.
Mm-hmm.
True,
I would almost rather have that person that's just blunt with me and mad than the ones that are just really wishy-washy and nice and not giving me answers.
Yeah.
And maybe that's my personality. I don't know.
We're getting questions. Let's go into some questions. Wesley's looking for a role play partner. Wesley, keep looking for a role play partner. Diana Shea, what do you tell them when you call twice per day without being annoying?
Well, I think you got to read them. I mean, again, these are things that we're telling ourselves in our head. I don't want to be annoying, so we don't call them. If you believe what you're telling yourself, that listing's probably going to the guy who's calling them twice a day.
That you're right. That's our biggest enemy. I want to be the good little girl or the good little boy. I got to be polite. I don't want to offend anybody. And but they're looking for a strong agent.
Yeah, I mean, you got to sometimes just be smart about it. But I would just say, a lot of people talk themselves out of doing something, and that's probably really not an issue. Like you said, Ren, that person probably wants an agent that's going to call the buyer twice a day to buy their house. Mm-hmm. They're going to be the same way with you as we are with the buyer. That's the phrase I like to use with them. But I mean, you got to make to answer that call, just you got to use a judgment at the same time. Be careful what you're telling yourself.
Yeah. So make that observation with the seller. Just say, don't you want someone this aggressive to get your home sold? How does your schedule look for? Great. Josh Rodriguez over on the lead gen site over on Facebook. He is asking, what is that line that you've used that always brings positive reactions? I'm not sure what line he's looking for.
I got a thought on that.
Okay. What do you have?
One thing that Josh taught me, again, I met Josh through Mike Ferry, is that the one thing he says and he trains his team on is never own an answer. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but it wasn't, all these agents are saying, I can sell your house. I can get you more money. I don't know if you heard what I said. I said, I want to share with you what other sellers are doing to get the most money.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice.
You get a repair request from
that's a great line.
You get an offer. You can use it on anything. You get an offer from on one of your listings, and the seller says, what should I do? You could say, oh, I think you should do this, but what's more effective is what other sellers have done in your position that gives them the best results is this. You may want to consider what other sellers have done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a great line.
I like that. That's perfect. Josh, I think we answered your other question on, focusing on the number of contacts versus the quality of the leads. There is that balance. He talked about that. Don Sheets from Cincinnati, Ohio. Don wants to know, what do you say when they ask, how did you get my number? Don, you know the answer to that. What do you, Josh, Michael, what do you say?
I think I might have learned this through you. I just say I have someone who pulls those numbers for me. I mean, they've got 30 or 40 different sources. I'm not sure.
There we go. Perfect.
And then again,
then you ask the next question. Most important thing.
Right. If you sold this home, where would you go next?
Yeah, exactly.
Answer the question.
Don't linger.
Yeah.
What do you say to a seller who says, I don't want to pay a 6% commission? Or
there's
there's
a couple different objection handlers for that. I know one thing Mike says that he teaches his script on that is, go ahead, ask me, will you lower your commission? Ask me. Let's role play that.
Okay, I may be interested in selling my home with you, but I'm going to need you to lower your commission.
You need to lower the commission.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say no to that. Any other questions, or can we get the process started?
I love it.
So it's not the best answer. I don't always use that one. I've got some that are a little more smooth, but it's an answer. So learn an answer.
All that certainty comes right through.
Yep.
Love it. Let's see. Amount of calls, the number of appointments. I think she wants to know your batting average. Diana's saying from every blank number of calls, and that will say contacts, Diana. How many contacts to an appointment? And how many appointments to a listing? Yeah. Well, what's your listing appointments to listings taken? Let's look at that.
72% this year.
72%. Great.
Usually around 70.
And how many contacts to an appointment?
This year I'm at 62 contacts to go on appointment. Or wait, no, excuse me. About 42 to go, about 60 to list.
Got it.
Okay.
So in other words, I got to talk to about 60 people to get one listing.
So what a lot of people need to realize, if you want to do the level of business that Michael's doing, track your numbers, know your batting averages, have some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get to that point where you have 9 contacts and say, I don't wanna, and then you get penalized because that means you have to go out and work open houses all weekend long and maybe have a sale, maybe not have a sale.
And like I mentioned earlier, that ratio has gone down through the years as I've got a little more skilled and I'm working more with past client basis, but that was higher when I started.
Yeah. Well, yeah, once you have your, once you have that group of people that know you and love you, as long as you're talking to them.
Yep.
What is your follow-up? Katrina wants to know, what is your follow-up if they hang up or they say they're not interested?
I think that kind of depends on your market because I get so many. If I just know for sure they're not going to do anything, I move on. I mean, I'll just delete them.
Okay.
At the same time, if someone's kind of motivated, but they might be timeout, I will. This is something I learned through one of my coaches. Was I'll print off that person, and my assistant has files January, February through March. If I think like in 30 days they might do something, I'll put call in May of 2018, and she just puts it in. I print it off. She puts it in that file. The second week of every month, she just hands me a stack of the people I'm supposed to call that month.
So they're not
that. Yeah. They're not
I know that
technically a
system.
lead.
I know that system. That works.
Yeah, they're not technically a lead or a hot lead, but I know they might do something in the future.
No, it's a neighborhood that may be a little stronger. It's a made up neighborhood. It's called February 2016. You just go through it.
Right.
Raymond wants to know how you track your numbers so accurately. I'm not sure why he's asking that because you just track your numbers every day. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know why that is kind of hard for people. In my former life, before I started in real estate, I was a CPA.
Oh, there you go.
I was a horrible CPA, but I was a CPA.
Raymond, some of the coaching companies have numbers trackers. If not, go to your Google Sheets and set it up, and at the end of your day, type in your numbers.
It could just be a spreadsheet. Yeah, you
go.
got to just do it. I mean, you just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Gallardo, let's see, was that 42 real, back to your context, was that 42 real conversations or 42 calls?
Conversations.
Yeah, attempts. He can make 42 attempts in the first 15 minutes, Do you have a good price reduction script or dialogue, Cordy? Whoever that is, I think that's somebody I know there, Kate French.
We can talk a little bit about dialogue, but my process is basically, and this is another thing that Mike teaches, you'll find the higher producing agent goes after price reductions sooner than a lower producing agent. So usually between 2 to 3 weeks, if I haven't gotten an offer, I will go meet with that seller in person for about 10 minutes and then have that conversation face to face. I'm really good at getting the first price reduction.
The second one's a little tougher.
Third are hard.
Yeah.
So
good. Yes, true. Antoine, how do you handle a potential seller that says they want to sell in 12 months?
I don't. I don't handle them.
Throw it back, take it off the hook, and throw it back.
Yeah.
Back in the lake. Back in the back. Yeah, that's a long lead. Yeah, if you're
And that's the thing is
if there's no answer.
What's that?
Katrina wants to know if you leave a voicemail if there's no answer.
No.
Okay. Amin wants to know, are you a single agent or a team? What's the team layout?
I have one buyer's agent. I'm looking to pick up another.
Okay.
And then I have one assistant. I'm trying to fill another one. We just let one of them go, but I typically carry 2 assistants. One's that handles the listings and the marketing, and the other one specializes with the escrow.
Nice.
Perfect. Good. And Emily Martinez, she says, how do you keep yourself motivated and consistent? What's the mindset piece? How do you do it on the days you don't feel like it? You have a lot of accountability partners or motivational things or combination?
I have 5 kids.
That'll do it.
There you go.
No, I do. So yeah, I think that's the only, what do they say? You only eat what you kill. So go out and buy if you need motivation, go buy a Porsche or something.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. And this is and I'm glad Josh and it cuts it off, so I can't tell what. But they're from Charlotte, North Carolina. They're at a Remax, but it can be anybody. It could be a Keller Williams. It could be a Coldwell Banker, and you get where you're the 9th Remax agent to call me this morning. How do you work with that? Because that is a struggle with agents. If it's the same, if you're in a company where they're doing everybody's calling expireds, because some companies that's the way it is. Right? And I don't know if that's the case where you are, but if it is, what do you do in that situation?
Well, there's a couple ways to handle that. And again, it's always fun if you can, once you get good. I mean, I know, again, another thing Mike Ferry teaches is that it's good if you can use humor to kind of, reduce the tension. It can be a stressful thing. These guys are getting 30, 40 calls, so if you can say something to get them laugh, or, there's always that. You had 8 agents from Remax call you. Did you know that we have 5,000 Remax agents in the Valley? There's only 8 working today?
There you go. That can do it. Yeah, because and they also want to know if they'd already listed and didn't sell with Remax. That's a little harder to sell.
Well, the one to that is like, I'm sure Mr. Seller, it's the individual agent that's going to sell your home, not the company.
There you go. Perfect. Good. And that does work. Mm-hmm. Do you ever, Jim Jones wants to know, do you ever visit the expired or FSBO in person before the call with the pre-listing presentation? Do you ever 2-step this where you go look at it, then you come back and do a presentation, which you hear of agents doing sometimes?
In my market, Arizona, a lot of the homes I'm selling, they call them tract homes.
Yeah.
So they're kind of cookie cutter, a lot of them. I mean, there's some areas I cover where they're more custom. I could see maybe that, but I heard one agent say, "What is me seeing your home going to change the value?" And the pictures, sometimes a lot of times it's been on MLS, and my pre-qualification script, I say, "Will you please describe your home for me?" And so I know quite a bit. I very rarely will preview it first.
Gotcha.
Is that another question?
Well, if we're asking enough questions on the pre-qual, then you have a pretty clear picture in your mind's eye, and you can go up or down once you get there.
Right.
Katrina says, what would, so let's say you're talking to a FSBO or an expired, and they say, call me in a year. What do you say?
No.
No. Or, I guess you have to figure out where they're coming from.
I do have that system. If they're in a good area,
yeah,
and I really send some good motivation. If they're in a year, I print off that lead and I say, call, they want to sell in a year, I'll type it, call February of 2019. And she puts it in the file and I'll forget about it.
What I'm seeing with some of these questions is the fact that it's sort of like, I got somebody on the phone, this is what they said, how can I turn it into something? It's sort of like working with a buyer, like how can I motivate them? What you have to do is throw them away and make more calls.
Right. I alluded to this earlier, but rather than me try to milk that person for a year, a lower producing agent's going to do that. They're going to say, this person wants to list in 6 months to a year, and you'll milk that person where you're spending that time doing that, where you can find somebody now who wants to sell their house today. So if you spend too much time with that person, you're going to miss the person right now.
Right. I mean, you're talking to 180 people a week. You're gonna, you can be picky. Some of these questions reflect the fact that they're not talking to enough people.
Exactly.
Because they're like, how can I save this? What could I say to them that's gonna motivate them and help them pick me? And it's not gonna happen. You have to talk to more people.
Right.
What about? And I see this. Jim Gray makes a point. You talk about. People, when they get cold feet, they're like, they want to cancel the appointment. And we see this with FSBOs a lot, where they want to push it off for a week or two. What do you do when they want to, they get cold feet on after they've set an appointment with you?
Like they've said it, they call cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing too is like, I give them the impression I'm not like, a lot of times I want to give the impression that I'm not coming. I mean, I want them to know that I'm going to list it at the same time. It's like, you want to make it easy for them. I'm out there anyways, 10, 15 minutes. Let me just see the house,
If
they want to wait.
You're a little less stressful for them.
Right. And one thing that when we're in real estate, and I've probably been kind of a hypocrite in this interview, but I know one thing Mike teaches is we're salespeople. Salespeople ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of real estate agents talk too much.
Yeah, they pitch and they have no idea. They have no idea, what's going on with that seller. They don't ask enough questions.
So I'd have to find out, like, yeah, that's fine. When we talked a week ago, you really wanted to get to San Diego in 60 days. Are you still looking to get to San Diego? I'm just going to ask questions and try to sell them on, that's fine if you want to wait to list in a week, but let's get together now to get the process started.
They just have to have a little more of a conversation, get into it.
Yep. Ask questions.
Good. Michael, this is some good stuff. And I know a lot of people are going to want to watch this one over and over and over and over and over. Kind of like you did with one of our shows recently. You just kept internalizing Steve Futch's FSBO script.
Yeah. So I definitely would rewatch this quite a few times just to get that expired script into my brain. I think everyone should do that. It's a really good idea.
I know. This has been fantastic, Michael. And everybody, you need to buy a second home in Phoenix.
Yep.
Especially, December, January, February, March. Those are great reasons to have a second home in Phoenix.
I think it's going to be like 82 degrees here today.
There we go. Yeah, come on down. So I need to have a couple mentions. And so I want to thank all the people on the lead gen group because Aaron Wittenstein's a big give back, and I want to thank him for running the simulcast broadcast. He runs a program called expiredmasteryelite.com. If you're watching on Vulcan7 and you want to get involved with them, that you can find them at facebook.com/groups/got objections. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not yet involved with Vulcan7, make sure to sign up with at vulcan7.com/lead-gen for an extra special deal. And normally we do our Grater's mint chocolate chip ice cream commercial right here because after you've done all those calls, you need to reward yourself. But she didn't have enough time on the way to our conference center to pick up some Grater's mint chocolate chip at the Seaside Market. So we won't do that today, but we want to
California traffic. It's crazy.
But we want to thank everybody for being here on Roadmap and watch this over and over again. Move to Phoenix.
I found one thing. It's sellingphoenixaz.net. It's the website. Sellingphoenixaz.net.
Sellingphoenixaz.net. Check out Michael's site. Go visit him. Can they come shadow you?
You bet. Yeah.
All right. I've got 42 people that will be reaching out to shadow you in Phoenix. And they're all going to come on the coldest day in February.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's been a real
Thanks,
fun.
guys.
I think we all are going to take away a lot from this call.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
See you next week.